Hello, everyone. Today is Thursday, February 3rd, 2022. Somaliland offers U.S. military access to port Airfield as it pushes for nationhood. This article is taken from Wall Street Journal. Somaliland, a peaceful corner of violent Somalia, is offering the U.S. military use of a seaport and airfield overlooking strategic maritime routes in exchange for steps toward recognizing the region as a sovereign country. Hoping to capitalize on growing U.S. concern over Chinese expansionism in Africa, Somaliland President Muse Bihi Abdi is planning a March visit to Washington, where he is expected to explore American interest in using the facilities in Berbera. The city sits on the Gulf of Aden, a key route linking the Indian Ocean, Suez Canal, and Mediterranean Sea. The president would definitely welcome a U.S. presence and protection of the waterways, Somaliland Foreign Minister Essa Cade said in an interview. America should react very urgently, Mr. Cade said. For decades, Somaliland, a former British protectorate in northwest Somalia, has been conducting a fruitless campaign for international recognition as an independent state. But the latest push comes at an opportune moment. There is growing disenchantment in Washington with the U.S. backed Somali national government in Mogadishu, which has delayed elections, become mired in political squabbling, and, despite 2 decades of U.S. military assistance, failed to quash al Shabaab, an Al Qaeda affiliate that has vowed to attack American interests in Africa and elsewhere. That disillusion with Mogadishu, along with concerns about internecine warfare in neighboring Ethiopia and the recent military coup in Sudan, are contributing to a groundswell of sympathy on Capitol Hill for Somaliland, which stands out in the region for its democratic elections and peaceful streets. The continued instability in the Horn of Africa and heightened global competition for resources and influence make it all the more important that we work with like-minded partners in the region, like Somaliland, committed to peace, democracy, and prosperity, said Idaho Senator Jim Risch, the ranking Republican on the Foreign Relations Committee. The Biden administration is sticking with the long-held U.S. position that Somalia, which is riven by clan and regional divisions, should remain intact. Some African governments are reluctant to do anything that might encourage breakaway movements in their own countries. At the same time, American diplomats have made no secret of their frustration with Somali President Mohamed Abdullahi Mohamed, who has put off elections for more than a year and tried to extend his own term in office in the interim. I can understand why some Somalilanders would like to secede from Somalia, if that's the correct term, because I've talked to some of them or corresponded with them on YouTube in reference to a video that I did a couple of weeks ago. And they feel that they never were really a part of Somalia. And I respect that. And, if one country, even if they're the same race, but as some Somalilanders have told me, they have a different culture. If that's the case, I do not know. I know they're both Somalis, but if they have a different culture, then you can't really keep them from seceding. I mean, if that's really what they want to do. I'm not a big fan of secession on the African continent. If anything, I want it to come together as um, one nation, as opposed to uh, splitting up more and more and more. And the reason, an example of how brothers can secede from each other is Bosnia. I mean, it had three different cultures: the Muslim culture, the Catholic culture, and the Eastern Orthodox culture. And they all broke with their Croatia went its way, and then Serbia went its way, and then they left the three cultures together in Bosnia. But they still went their ways if they could. So I mean, that's an example of how it could happen. But what I am not fond of is them looking toward, first of all, going outside. And again, I talked to a Somalilander about this same thing, and they said, well, you go wherever you have to. And necessity is the mother of invention. I understand that. I mean, I we all understand that. But um, the United States and the rest of the West has never been a friend of um, Africa ever since slavery, and even before slavery. I mean, it really started with slavery, um, but and then you have colonization, and you haven't been colonized for only about 60 years. In some cases, less than that. So you know, um, but another thing is, well, I'll leave it at that.